Okay, welcome back to Mrs. Tucker's science class. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're going to be talking about inherited traits and learned behaviors. And what I've done is made a list of some things, and we're going to go through those. And they're going to be on your test, so you might want to take notes. And we're going to say, are you born with it? Means it's an inherited trait. Or did you learn it? Is it a learned behavior? So we'll get started with that. And I'll try to speak loud enough from over here so that you can hear me. So our first one is eye color. Is that something you're born with or you learn it? That is an inherited trait. Speaking Spanish. Now, this is one of the ones that kind of confuses kids. You are not born speaking any type of language. So, after you're a toddler and you are around whoever you are around, and whatever language they speak is the language that you're going to pick up. So, it is a learned behavior. Learned behavior, you learn it. A lot of you speak both languages, speak Spanish and English, and you learned both of those. Teaching a dog tricks. So the dog is learning how to roll over or fetch a stick or something like that. That dog is learning a behavior, so it is a learned behavior. Spines on a cactus, those things that poke you, that is a inherited trait. In fact, the one thing I want you to come away with today is that plants, all plants, only have inherited traits. They do not have learned behaviors. A plant cannot learn anything. So if that's the one thing you learned today is plants only have inherited traits. They do not have learned behaviors. Reading a book, that's something you learned to do in first grade. So it is a learned behavior. Snowboarding, that's when you go down the hill on snow. With kind of looks like a skateboard, but it's a snowboard. That is a learned behavior. You learn how to snowboard. Straight hair. That's something you're born with, so it is an inherited trait. Cooking a meal. So if you know how to cook eggs or toast or pancakes or even a steak, you've learned how to do that. You may not be any good at it, but you still learned it. And so it is a learned behavior. Now here's one of the ones that are kind of a miracle. And we're talking about all newborns, whether you're a newborn baby, a human baby, or if you're a newborn calf, or a newborn kitten, or a newborn bird, is when they are born, there's something in their brain that tells them to start breathing. And that's not something somebody has taught them. That is a inherited trait. They are born with it. Inherited trait. Curly hair. Some of you have curly hair and you were born with it. So it is an inherited trait. Taste of an apple. Remember I told you about plants. An apple comes off of a plant and it can only be one thing. It cannot be a learned behavior. So it has to be an inherited trait. Riding a bike. That took a few trials and errors on your part or anybody's part, and you learned how to ride a bike. So it is a learned behavior. The next one is rolling your tongue. That's where you make your tongue into like a taco. Some of you can do it, some of you can't, but it is an inherited trait. You are born. You cannot learn to roll your tongue. It is an inherited trait. People that can't roll their tongue into a taco try and try and try, and they just can't do it. It's not something that they can even learn. The next one is kind of like the newborn breathing. A chick pecking out of his shell. You know, there's nobody inside that egg telling that chick what to do. Now, you put your little beak here and you go tap, tap, tap. That is all inherited trait. That's one of them miracles that we talk about. Migrating south for winter, whether it be a bird or some type of antelope in Africa, they know instinctively at what time to go do that, and that is an inherited trait. They do not know where they're going, they just know that they have to go there. That is an inherited trait. Playing football, that's something you learn, so it is a learned behavior. A bee finding pollen. Nobody's in there. There's not a little classroom full of bees saying this is how you need to find pollen and where to go. That is an inherited trait. Okay, got another page for you. Same kind of stuff. Tying your shoe. I put tying you shoe. Tying your shoe. You learned how to do that, so that is a learned behavior. Stripes on a tiger. That's not something he learns, that is an inherited trait, just like the color of your hair. Manners, you know, saying please, thank you, holding a door open for somebody, that is all learned behavior. Now some of us have learned it and some of us haven't yet. It's always nice to have good manners. A bear hibernating in winter. Nobody tells that bear when to go and where to go for the winter, and that is an inherited trait. Even the bears that are in a zoo instinctively know that when the weather starts to get colder, they need to find some place to find a den and sleep for the winter. Webbed feet, like in a duck, that is also an inherited trait. You don't learn to have webbed feet. Inherited trait. Using a calculator. Lots of us have this year learned how to use a calculator. That is a learned behavior. Setting up a tent. You're going to go camping. You know, if you go camping and when you're very young and it's something your family does all the time, you watch your mom and dad or somebody that you go camping with how to do it. Or you read instructions on how to set up a tent. So that is a learned behavior. A turtle laying eggs on a beach. That is an inherited trait. Bears catching salmon. Okay, now this is one of those ones that you think, well, it can go either way, and it is. It's kind of a gray area. They have an instinct to catch the salmon, but to successfully catch the salmon, those cubs watch their mom stand out on those rocks and watch the water, and they learn from their mom. So this is one of those that is, you would think is an inherited trait, but it really is a learned behavior. If you were to take a bear out when he's real little and put him in a zoo, and then decide you're going to set him free and that he's going to catch salmon, he's not going to be very successful because nobody taught him how to catch salmon. Just like if you go fishing, you might get lucky and throw your hook out there and catch one, but if you have no idea what you're doing, you're not going to be very successful. So this is a learned behavior. It's on top of the instinct to fish. He knows he wants to catch that fish, he just doesn't know how to catch the fish, and that's a learned behavior. Speaking Chinese is just like speaking Spanish. It is a learned behavior. Curly hair. I think I've already done that one, but that will do it again. It's an inherited trait. Maybe it was straight hair that I had. Dimples. Dimples are those little holes, kind of divots in your face that when you smile that everybody thinks are so cute. You either have them or you don't, and that's an inherited trait. You cannot learn to have a dimple. Making a sandwich is a learned behavior. Swimming. If you were a little kid and somebody threw you out there and you didn't know what you were doing, you probably drowned. It is also a learned behavior. Sharp teeth on a fox. They automatically have that when they're little. That is an inherited trait. And playing the piano is a learned behavior. Now, some people play the piano well, some people don't play the piano well. And that has to do with you might inherit a propensity to play the piano, meaning that you are musically inclined. But it doesn't do you any good if you are musically inclined until somebody teaches you how to play the piano. And our last one, animals hunting. And that is one of those that we're going to talk about. It's both an inherited trait and a learned behavior. They have a propensity to want to hunt. But if you've ever watched some of those shows, like say the cheetahs, when the mom goes hunting, she takes her cubs and they watch her. It's not like they're sitting in the bushes playing video games and not watching her. They're watching her and they're learning how to hunt. So I know this is one that can go either way, but it is a learned behavior. Cheetahs want to chase things that run away from them, but to be successful in hunting, it has to be a learned behavior. So I'm hoping everybody's doing well. A lot of you are staying on top of your work. I'm really proud of you that you're getting everything done. Some of you are getting kind of behind and it's going to be hard to catch up. Make sure that you're not only doing the science, but you're also doing the social studies, the history. And if you have any questions, if you're having problems with getting on with that studies weekly, shoot me a comment in Google Classroom and I'll walk you through it and see if there's something wrong maybe with your login or password. I notice a lot of you aren't doing your history, and you will be getting a grade weekly on your history. It will be I'll take all the grades that we get in 1 week and combine them together, but you will get one grade per subject per week. So like I said, if you're having trouble either with the science or the social studies, don't just close up your Chromebook and say, well, I just couldn't do it. you need to be trying to get a hold of me, you can either get a hold of me through Google Classroom. That's a good way. Or if not, you can have your parents get on Dojo, or you can get on Dojo and shoot me a message through there. My email is Penny, Penny .Tucker, Tucker at TiogaISD.net. So if you have any questions or comments, get a hold of me. I'll be getting a hold of you this week, especially the ones that are not turning in the work, and I will shoot you an email saying what you are missing that does need to be completed. So have a great day. It's beautiful weather outside, and go out and enjoy a little bit. Take a walk your dog. Remember, practice that safe distancing, and hope to see you soon.